AP Chemistry, Unit 9.8, Galvanic, and Electrolytic cells. So electrochemistry is the study of the relationship between electricity and chemical reactions. And we can assign oxidation numbers to help us express this in terms of losing electrons where we have been oxidized, or gaining electrons where we have been reduced. To help you remember which is which, we have two memory devices. We have Leo the lion goes grr for loss of electron oxidation and gaining of electron reduction, and then oil rig, and that is going to be oxidation is loss and then reduction is gain. Okay. In redox reactions, there are electrons that are lost by one substance, and then those same electrons are then gained by another substance. So they must happen in tandem. They must happen at the same time. And half reactions show the reduction oxidation steps separately, and then the redox reaction overall shows both, and the number of electrons that are gained and lost must be equal. So the half reactions do need to be multiplied in order for those electron values to be the same for both. In electrochemistry, we study the movement of electrons within redox reactions and how it can be used to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. And within galvanic or voltaic cells, those are the same thing, they're just two different names. So galvanic and voltaic cells are systems where a chemical reaction is going to produce electrical energy, and this can only happen within spontaneous reactions. This is in direct contrast to electrolytic cells. Electrolytic cells are going to be systems where electrical energy has to be input into the system in order to produce a chemical reaction. So this is going to be a non-spontaneous reaction. Galvanic, aka voltaic cells, we have a memory device here. It's I have an ox and a fat red cat. An ox is going to be anode oxidation, so that helps you realize what is happening at each point of the cell. And then fat from anode 2, and then we have our red cat reduction cathode. So from our anode to the cathode, we have oxidation to reduction. So step 1, we are going to oxidize at our negative anode. So whenever I was a student, I had the hardest time with electrochemistry until I realized that the words that are used within the electrochemical system are going to have the same prefixes that mean the same thing in previous units. So oxidation is going to be at the negative anode, like anion, which is our negative ions. Okay, so our negative is going to be on our anode. Step 2, the electrons are going to flow up the wire from the anode to the cathode, again, from anode 2, that fat part of the fat red cat. And then we are going to have reduction at the positive cathode. Again, positive cathode as in cation. Cats have paws, cations are positive, and the cathode is going to be positive as well. During this entire process, the mass of the anode will decrease as electrons are removed, and those previously zero oxidative state going to a positive oxidative state metals are going to go into the solution, and so they are going from the solid like foil anode into solution, and so the overall foil anode will decrease in mass and will kind of dissolve into the solution, whereas the cathode mass is going to increase. Okay, we have electrons here being donated from the anode to the cathode, and we are able to give those electrons to the metal ions that are within the solution, and then those metal ions become just metal, just solid metal, and those all collect onto the cathode. The salt bridge is going to move electrons, and it is made up of ions that don't interfere with the redox reactions. Okay, so we're going to flow to the cathode to replace the positive charge by the reduced metal, and anions are going to flow to the anode to balance out the positive charge from the oxidized metal. So again, anion and cation going anode and cathode. So those are going to, again, be touchstones, touch points there that you can help yourself out to remember what's going on at each point. Then we have a diagram of a galvanic or voltaic cell here. So we have the anode on the left and the cathode on the right. This is by convention. Anodes are always going to be on the left, cathodes are on the right. We are going to go from left to right with our overall electron flow. Okay, so we are going to have our anode here, which is going to be, in this case, zinc, and then that anode is going to be submerged in some sort of zinc sulfate solution, just whatever solution is going to be here. Those electrons are going to be traveling across this wire here, again, from anode to the cathode. In this case, it's going to be, our cathode is copper. And so we have a copper foil cathode here that is submerged within a copper sulfate solution. And again, these electrons are being donated from my anode side over to my cathode side. And then I also have a salt bridge here where my anions will flow to the anode to balance out that positive charge from the oxidized metal, where that metal from the anode is dissolving into this solution here. And my cations, in this case, potassium ion, is going to flow into my cathode to replace the positive charge that is lost by my metal being deposited onto my cathode strip there. Electricity is going to be power that's created by the flow of electrons, and redox reactions move electrons, and voltaic cells, aka galvanic cells, take advantage of these moving electrons by allowing them to move through a circuit, and thus we capture that electrical energy. Or we can just see how much electrical energy would be potentially available for capture if we just allowed to move through a voltmeter. An electrical potential forms between the solution and the electrode. This is known as a half cell. And a different electrical potential forms between the other solution and the other electrode, which is going to be the other half cell. Those electrical potentials are going to be measured under standard conditions, and then by convention, this is going to be listed as reduction potentials. So if your half cell is being oxidized, you would need to reverse the sign of the potential. And as a reminder, standard conditions are going to be 298 Kelvin, 1 atmosphere, and our solution concentrations are going to be 1 molar. Once the standard electrical potential for a half cell is known, the potential difference or voltage or electromotive force, EMF, of a electrochemical cell made up of any two half cells is described utilizing this equation here. So we have the electrical potential of the cell being equal to the electrical potential of our reduced substance minus the electrical potential of the oxidized substance. If our overall cell electrical potential is positive and our Gibbs free energy is negative, then this is going to be a spontaneous reaction, which means it would be a good voltaic or galvanic cell. But if my electrical potential is negative and my Gibbs free energy is positive, this is going to be a non-spontaneous reaction, so it would be a better electrolytic cell. Standard reduction potentials are going to be intensive, which means that they are not affected by the amount of a substance that you have present. And so even if you had to multiply the half reactions to balance out the overall electrons that are being exchanged within a redox reaction, you do not ever multiply the overall electrical potential of your half cell. So that's just going to be the straight value. No multiplication, no alteration at all. And then electrolytic cells, again, are going to be redox reactions where the electrical energy is needed in order to drive a non-spontaneous reaction. Or you can think of this as electrolytic cells are kind of the reverse of galvanic or voltaic cells. So we have inside of our phones batteries that are galvanic cells, and that process, as they go ahead and donate those electrons, and we are able to capture that energy, we are able to power our cell phones. However, eventually we run out of juice. We run out of our anode. It has been exhausted. And so to get our battery back up, we need to switch the cell type to a electrolytic cell. And we input energy into that system, and we go ahead and reverse that reaction, and thereby recharging our battery and our cell phone, being able to use it again and again and again.